It came with a whisper of warning, a faint ripple in weather forecasts that barely stirred Sanya's tranquil shores. Typhoon Kajiki, known in China as Jianyu, never made landfall, yet its ferocity brought a coastal paradise to its knees. The storm's outer bands unleashed hurricane-force winds, transforming a city of turquoise waves and soft beaches into a battleground of survival. This was no fleeting tropical disturbance, but a force that shook the foundations of a tropical idyll. Sanya, Hainan Island's crown jewel, was renowned for its sunlit resorts and swaying palms. Overnight, Kajiki erased that serenity, dragging chaos across the shoreline with winds reaching level 14, 45 meters per second. These gales were strong enough to uproot trees, bend steel, and shatter the confidence of a city accustomed to gentler weather. The storm's power turned a place of beauty into a scene of raw, unrelenting survival. In high-rise apartments, families huddled as concrete towers swayed like ships on a turbulent sea. Walls vibrated with a low, ominous hum, while windows flexed under the storm's relentless pressure. Residents taped glass in desperate patterns, hoping to keep the outside world from crashing in. The ceaseless howl of wind drowned out all silence, burrowing into minds with a gut-deep dread that something could break at any moment. Outside, the storm carved through Sanya like a blade through silk. Coconut palms, symbols of the city's tropical allure, were torn from the earth, roots exposed like raw nerves. Power lines snapped, sparking wildly in the deluge, plunging neighborhoods into darkness. Steel billboards, once advertising beachfront resorts, twisted like paper in the wind's grip. Traffic lights flickered and died, leaving intersections ghostly and unmoored. Homes, hospitals, schools, and emergency communication networks fell silent in the blackout. For a city that thrived on light and vibrancy, the darkness was suffocating. The storm's speed was merciless, its damage instantaneous, reshaping Sanya in mere hours. Within hours, authorities scrambled to evacuate thousands from low-lying areas where floodwaters rose rapidly. Over 20,000 residents were relocated to makeshift shelters. Schools turned into dormitories, gymnasiums filled with cots. Families carried what they could: a bag of clothes, a photo album, a child's favorite toy. They stepped into the unknown, hoping their homes would still stand when the storm passed. Inside shelters, the air was thick with tension and the hum of whispered conversations. Children's cries pierced the din, their small voices echoing fear and confusion. The elderly clutched plastic bags of medication, rationing pills with trembling hands. Volunteers moved tirelessly, distributing bottled water, instant noodles, and thin blankets that offered little comfort against the storm's roar. The rain fell without mercy, a relentless deluge that transformed Sanya's streets into rivers. In a single day, over 250 millimeters of water poured down, swallowing underpasses and submerging vehicles. Main thoroughfares vanished beneath muddy, churning floodwaters, leaving cars bobbing like abandoned toys. Homes, especially in older districts, were inundated, their interiors reduced to a sodden mess of ruined memories.
好的，明明住的小镇嘛，现在改住海边了，山清水秀的变汪洋大海了。哎，
看看这大水，这是东关加油站那儿，河套的水马上都要上大道了。
Essential roads, the city's lifelines, became impassable, choked with fallen branches and shattered glass. Emergency vehicles stalled in flooded streets, their sirens drowned by the storm's fury. Ambulances were blocked by debris, forcing crews to hack through tangled trees with axes. For seasoned responders, Kajiki's overwhelming force was a humbling, unprecedented challenge. In one shelter, a young doctor named Li Wei worked 36 hours without rest, stitching wounds and calming panic attacks. "We couldn't stop," she later said, her voice heavy with fatigue. "Every minute, someone needed us. We were their only hope." Her hands, steady despite exhaustion, became a lifeline for a community on edge. Down at Sanya's harbor, the sea rose in rebellion, waves slamming into concrete piers like hammer blows. Docked fishing boats buckled against their moorings, some torn away into the churning abyss. Fishermen, faces weathered by years at sea, watched helplessly as their livelihoods vanished. Over 800 offshore workers were evacuated in a race against time, with helicopters battling treacherous winds to airlift them to safety. When Kajiki's winds shifted west, the storm left not peace but devastation in its wake. Flooded homes, shattered trees, and blocked roads painted a tableau of wreckage across Sanya. The skies remained gray, heavy with the threat of more rain, yet life began to stir. Cleanup started before the storm fully passed, because waiting was not an option for a city determined to rise again.
我操！从我身边擦肩而过啊！我操！我操！我操！我操！
还有点冷啊！别把我的手机给掉下去。
Residents took to the streets with brooms and shovels, clearing debris by hand under relentless drizzle. Repair crews waded through ankle-deep mud, stringing new power lines amid hissing live wires. Electricity returned pole by pole, but the flickering lights couldn't erase the emotional scars Kajiki carved into the city. The work of rebuilding was as much about hearts as it was about homes. The WMO confirmed 2024 as the hottest year on record, with 2025 poised to surpass it. Kajiki is not a singular event, but a harbinger of storms to come. Once-in-a-century disasters now strike every few years, shrinking timelines and accelerating damage. The South China Sea and the cities along its shores face a future of relentless challenges. In Sanya, a fisherman named Zhang Wei lost his boat, his family's sole source of income. "It's not just wood and nets," he said, staring at the horizon where his vessel sank. "It's 30 years of my life, gone in one night." His words echo the personal toll of a storm that spared no one's dreams.
看一下外国有人都在拍，看一下大东海，大东海的事情，看一下，全是挂的，大东海的。
In a shelter, a young girl named May clutched a soggy stuffed bear, asking if her home was still there. Her mother, unable to answer, held her tighter, their shared silence heavier than the storm outside. These stories, often lost in headlines, linger in the hearts of Sanya's people. Kajiki's legacy is not just wreckage, but the quiet pain of lives forever altered. Sanya was shaken but stood, its people resilient in the face of ruin. The next city may not be so fortunate, as storms grow stronger and more frequent. The question is not if, but when the next will strike, and whether we act in time to meet the challenge before it overwhelms us.